All right, so let's move on to our next running back here. Ollie Gordon, the second Oklahoma State running back, 6'1" 3/8", 226 pounds, 9.5-inch hands. He is 21 years old. He just kind of turned 21 in January, so he's another young one. He ran a 4.61 in the 40 with a 1.6 10-yard split, 120-inch broad jump, 34.5-inch vertical. He had the 67th best run blocking offensive line in front of him last year at Oklahoma State. And he rushed for 880 yards on 190 attempts and 13 touchdowns, 29 receptions, 179 yards receiving, and another touchdown.
And before Garrett gets to this tape, I just want to start off by saying 880 yards, 13 touchdowns. When he was coming off a campaign that he was Dynasty running back one by a landslide, because in 2023, because I had to go back and watch a little 23 tape as well, 1,732 yards, 21 touchdowns, was a Doka Walker Award winner and Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year.
He also pieced together 39 receptions for 333 yards and an additional touchdown.
You guys took them all my
2023. So listen,
I gotta say this before. I gotta make sure.
Well, just in case you didn't say it, sorry.
So I went and dug into that a little bit, like what the heck was the big difference there, and the yards before contact went drastically down for Ollie Gordon in 2024 compared to 2023. He was all the way up at 4 yards per carry before contact in 2023, 1.8 in 2024. So it went down quite a bit.
Yeah, 1.5.
Yeah. You guys introed it great. He was a fantastic runner in the year before, former Doak Walker Award winner. And yes, he had a fantastic 2023 campaign.
Before you get going, I just want to say, and yes, he had a before you say anything, I want to say he had a fantastic 23 campaign. All right, sorry, guys. I just want to get out before the audience.
Yeah, just in case.
Just in case.
Just in case.
We know you might not get a chance to talk, so we got to make sure to get it out there.
What a dick move by me. I apologize. I usually don't feel bad, but I do feel bad. I'm like, oh man, he probably was going to say that.
I play Debbie. I'm aware of him.
I know you. No, I know you know.
Right.
Too, but like I want to when he read out the stats, I thought it's such like a huge.
It is
like talking point. Like, that's the biggest thing with Ollie Gordon. So I wanted to be the premise that we're kind of talking off here, because like I'm literally, I get to mine is like literally a tale of two cities. Like
it is.
2 years.
It is. And if you go back, because I had to do the same thing. I had to watch some 23 tape and 24 tape. I even talked to Matt Cooper, who, if you guys appreciate the film room, he's the one that puts a lot of work and organizes all of it and gets the guys cutting the certain games. And that was one thing I asked him. I said, hey, thank you so much for getting the 24 tape. I don't normally ask for this specifically, but can you give me some 23 tape as well? And he's like, yeah, we can make that happen before. And he got us some 23 games as well. And even before that, I watched just some broadcast games because I wanted to get kind of a feel for it. And I don't think, sometimes you watch guys and they're a very different player from one year to another. He's the same guy. Nothing changed with him specifically. It was the team and the environment around him that changed fairly drastically. I was honestly, when I went and looked at the PFF grades and saw 67, even though that's very just pedestrian, it's literally almost exactly, actually that's dead center. I think 134.
I think, yeah.
So it's literally like dead center of just an average offensive line. I was surprised it was in the top 100. Honestly, it was a very, very bad run blocking offensive line. Everything I saw there was he had to fight every single play, it seemed like, to just try to get anything going, which made him a really, really difficult evaluation when going through there. I thought his vision was good, but I did not love his patience. And I think part of that kind of reminds me of Cam Akers, a little while back, where he started getting into some bad habits because he didn't trust his line. And rightfully so, but it did sort of start to develop some habits that he didn't have in his sophomore campaign that he did have in his junior campaign.
Do you also think that teams are just keying on him as well? I mean, coming off of 1,700. I mean, let's stop that guy. Screw everything. Let's see what else. Let's see what else these guys got here.
Yep.
I saw that on tape.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I felt.
But the one thing I want to give him some credit for, because he is a very physical runner.
Yep.
He does have some good contact balance, and he's actually got some pretty solid straight line speed. Now, he's not super elusive. He's not going to make you miss and that kind of stuff. That's not his game. But when we talk about Derrick Henry, like he is more in that vein and style of runner, very big, 6'1", the 220 plus, like he's a bigger player. Nobody is Derrick Henry. So please don't take this as a Derrick Henry comp. It's just stylistically build and whatnot is not too dissimilar. All that being said, you mentioned about all of the times that he got hit in the backfield. That was something that I was actually surprisingly impressed with because we did see so many guys in the backfield. And typically runners that are not short area quickness merchants, speed merchants,
Right.
really, really struggle with guys in the backfield. He did better than I expected. He still had a lot of tackles for loss and things like that. But there were several times where he problem solved and figured out a way to get back to the line of scrimmage or get a 1 to 2 yard gain. Are those types of things going to show up on the stat sheet? No.
Well, they do. They show up as a 0 yard run,
right,
or a 1 to 2 yard run, which looks horrible.
Which looks really bad. Yeah. So I think there are things here that make his game deceptive. Now, I always thought he was a little bit overrated, and now he's gotten to the point where maybe he's a little bit underrated. So it's probably somewhere in the middle. He ended up with, I talked about it in the very first show, ended up with my 12th rated running back. But most years he would be 5th or 6th.
Yeah.
So take that for what it's worth. 72.35. Really good with breaking tackles, great physicality, surprisingly good in pass pro as well. I thought he did a really good job there. There's some things he needs to clean up and whatnot, but overall, and obviously has the frame to be able to do it well. Receiving isn't going to be a strong part of his game, but I don't think he's deficient there to where he can't do it. But I don't see him as necessarily the true receiving back as like a 3-down back.
I'm going to fight you on one thing, and it's the pass pro.
Okay.
For me, I saw him diving at people's feet, trying to cut them an awful lot.
He did do that a lot. Yep.
And it was very mixed results. And even when he was going out on a pass and he was tasked with chipping a guy, I saw him basically whiff on a couple of those.
Okay. Well. I'll go back and watch that more closely. Maybe I missed something.
Yeah. So that was like one of my concerns with him. But in the couple of times that I saw him square a dude up, he looked great.
He dominated. Yeah.
Yeah. He looked great doing that. He needs to eliminate the cut blocking and just give a little bit more effort on some of those chips and kind of just really focus on getting a piece of the guy instead of
okay. That makes sense. Maybe I missed a couple of those misses because I was say I remember him squaring some guys up and he had some real good punch.
He did.
And you saw the hips all the way through. So maybe I missed a couple of the whiffs that he had or something like that.
Maybe it was just one of those things. I just kept seeing him diving at people's feet and missing and the dude just easily hopping over him.
Sure.
And like it can work for a smaller back.
Sure.
You know what I mean? That could be sometimes the only way you
just takes you a lot longer to get down there at his height compared to 5'8".
You're 226 pounds, dude. Square the guy up, man. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm sure a professional coach is telling the exact same thing.
Sure.
So I wouldn't expect that to be an issue going forward, but big physical guy all the way across the board. So I think you nailed it. I don't have a ton of extra stuff to add on to that. I don't think. The speed and burst I think is adequate, right? 4.6 is not going to blow anyone away, but I think his playing speed is okay. Mm-hmm. But the pass catching I think is there. He's a big guy. Like there's something there to I think be interested in Ollie Gordon. I just don't know where he's going to be taken in the NFL draft because there was such a drop off.
Sure.
And if NFL NFL evaluators don't dig in too much about any of this stuff. They might just see this, hey, maybe the guy kind of fell off and not give him the time of day or hey, we got better options. This is a really loaded class. He could end up slipping a little bit and going a little bit further down, especially, running one of the slower 40s out of the whole group. You know what I mean?
Sure.
He's bringing that average that was like 4.48 down instead of one of the guys bringing it up. So it's a little bit, hard to nail down, but I think he's got the type of skill set that he could be a 3-down back if he finds his way into a job. So from that perspective, he's interesting.
Yeah, I think Garrett summed it up pretty good there in his whole take, and then saying, at one point he was overrated. Now I do kind of feel like he is slightly underrated, and part of me is kind of happy he ran a 4.61 because it kind of might push him down a little bit more for me in some rookie drafts, like late second possibly. Because people are like, oh, 4.61, it's slow. It's actually pretty fast. Definitely for a guy of his size. You know, I mean, he's 6'1", 221. I mean, he's a big dude. And it shows. And when you're looking at his tape, I said it's like a tale of two seasons, right? Like 2023 is like his 21st birthday. 2024 is the hangover. Right? That's where he's at. So like, I mean, you go back to 2023, like you watch him at versus Kansas State. I mean, this guy's big, strong. He's running through the gap. He's stiff arming defensive backs like they're walking on banana peels. Like it's ridiculous out there. His vision looked good. He looked sharp. He said his cutbacks were nice in 2023. I watched him against BYU. He's breaking shoulders there. He's just literally stiff arming people and just like push him to the ground like he's Thanos, right? Like, give me that stone. So 6'1", 226 is ridiculous. I mean, he does offer that 3-down potential, which is not a lot of running backs offer that because he does have soft hands. Like, I appreciate his hands. And then you go back in the same player and you go back. I mean, and I understand like your pass pro, I saw some of that too. Like, it needs some work. Like, but he's capable. It just needs, I think he needs some coaching.
Yeah, he's capable.
Yeah, he's definitely coachable. So, like, this is a guy that can go out there and just dominate with pure size and God-given attributes, right? You go to 2024, you watch him versus Baylor, you know, and it's like, oh my God, this team, like you said, the teams, that's where I noticed, like, I was like, I'm going to watch a little 2023. I want to see him at his best and like what went wrong, what looks different. And like how you said, like, he's pretty much the same player, but man, the offensive line, like, I'm with you. Like when he said it was like the middle of the pack, like it looked,
I'm surprised it was in top 100.
It looked absolutely terrible there. So you get that. The QB looked terrible. And I saw the defense are just literally stacking the box. It's like a Black Friday sale out there, just fucking stacking them up.
Yep. And that's the thing. Maybe the grade, that 67 grade, it's based off of them blocking the guys that are in front of them that they're assigned to block.
Sure.
It doesn't account for extra rushers. It doesn't count for blitzes, like run blitzes, which I think was heavily kind of a thing that was happening against them this year.
I mean, he's tight-hipped, doesn't offer a lot of wiggle whatsoever. And, you know, the concern is like with Ollie Gordon, again, I'm really intrigued to see where he goes, where he's drafted, because for him to have like, he needs to be a 3-down running back to be like a successful dynasty running back. Like there's no really like, is Ollie Gordon starter or they're not? Because he doesn't bring that, like he doesn't bring all, like he's not the best, I think he's fine any NFL team, a complimentary back. But from a dynasty fantasy football perspective, if he's just like a complimentary back, it's like him, like a little like, you know, him and whoever, like J.K. Dobbins, like I feel like his ceiling's a little bit more capped.
He reminds me, you know, if we're going to go back to comps, if you remove this guy as his pass catching ability, because I think the guy I'm going to comp him to is a much better pass catcher, but the rest of their games I think are pretty similar, and it's Zach Charbonnet. I see these two in a very similar, like big physical running backs, don't have like the best feet in the world, but when you get them moving in a straight line, they can make guys miss and they can you know, use their physicality to run guys over. So I see them in a similar light. I just think Zach Charbonnet is a better pass catcher.
Garrett, I absolutely love that because I was the one that was saying I kind of saw Zach Charbonnet a little bit as overrated, where the Dynasty community had him super high. And I was like, listen, Kenneth Walker is just a significantly better running back.
Yeah.
And he went in the second round, he had the draft capital to back it up. A lot of people like this tape, but like I hated the situation he was in. And I said the day after NFL draft, people were like, I was like, I don't think I would take Zach Charbonnet in the top 24 picks. And like everybody on the big thing on the show was like, whoa, really that low? I'm like, yeah, dude, I just don't know where the value is. Cause like if he's not the guy, which again, if Zach Charbonnet was the guy, and we saw this in Seattle, he's fine. Like I want him in my dynasty roster. But if I absolutely, I didn't ever thought about that. I love that comp for Ollie Gordon 100% because if he's not the guy, that's what he is. Somebody you're never started on your roster, capable. Yeah. Good. Yeah. He's the guy. He's a running back one. So I absolutely love that comp. You go somewhere like that, like the same similar kind of skill set, like a Kenneth Walker.
Yeah.
Then
it could be tough.
I'll say the same thing. Like there's too many running backs here. I'm probably never going to take Ollie Gordon in my top 24. And you're like, whoa, what do you mean? He's your running back 12. Like, sorry, don't love the situation. I love that comp.
The one thing is he's on the opposite end of the spectrum though, right? Because he's not hyped. He's not overhyped. Like,
yeah, right.
So, you know, like you might be able to get him at the top part of the third right now. You know what I mean? Like that.
Right.
Probably.
You might-
Scatterboot's going to third a lot of these mocks.
So
Not for me.
so Ollie Gordon, I don't think it'd be crazy that Ollie Gordon in this draft goes in the third round of rookie draft.
It was more, I think I'm more so not the players themselves.
No,
it's more like the situation.
The situation. You know, I get it. Yeah.
Draft pedigree, people like the player because everybody. Listen, sometimes when you get in these situations, like people are just like, oh, who do I draft here? They see the name Ollie Gordon. They're thinking 23. They're thinking something. So the name value does hold. You know, like Trevor Etienne's going to be another example of something like that. Like, you know, a name value is going to hold some merit in some people's drafts.
So let me ask you this: because he's on the opposite end of the spectrum, let's say he goes to a situation where he isn't like there isn't a clear path. There's clearly a better running back on, but you can get a middle of the third round. Are you interested then?
If he goes to like another path, like say he goes to Baltimore.
He goes to Baltimore. He goes to the Chargers. He goes to like some of these more power run schemes.
Now, the Chargers is a clear path, so I won't say that.
That's true, but even if they sign J.K. Dobbins and
then he wants there, yeah.
So are you interested there, middle of the third round? Because, or do you think just that situation? Because if there's definitely a better running back there, and he might still be available in the third round.
You're talking about pick. And I said in the second round, like
27,
3-1 even. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about 26, 26. Yeah, for sure. I like his tape. Right. I think he's, like I said, I think you paint a good picture there when you said like not much change with him. Like he's still a very solid running back.
He's the
kind of running back that wins in the NFL.
Absolutely.
Anyone that rushes for 1,700 yards in a college season, they
got some skill.
There's something there. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'm interested in the third round. I may be interested at the back end of the second round, even in like
in the right landing spot.
Yeah. I want to see where he goes. I said Kenneth Walker at the time, 22, 23. You're like, this is drastically different than like a Derrick Henry. Even though I love Trey Benson, say like the Cardinals took him, you know what I mean? Something like that. Where does he go? Like is
he backs up Joe Mixon
or even he goes to Houston. If he goes to Cincinnati, where like again, I think Chase Brown is very replaceable and he's very high in people's rankings. Like this would be a situation like almost like a Rashad White situation. Like, ooh, I see Ollie Gordon. I see a path there for Gordon over a guy like Chase Brown. Kind of push Chase Brown back to that like pass catching kind of like third.
Well, they just said that they want to complement him with a physical back.
That would be a great, end of the third round. Sure. The Bengals
It'd be a really good fit for Ollie Gordon. Like a really good fit.
Both team and
that scenario. All of a sudden now he's second round for me, probably mid second round. Yeah. So yeah, I think he's got a wide range of like where he is going to end up in my final rankings. Mm-hmm. But overall, just on a tape score, like he's right. Like I like where you have like right around 12. No. Like it seems like a pretty good spot for him because like there's other guys I feel a little bit more comfortable. Guys like Dylan Sampson,
sure,
but at least he has the talent where like he could like. I think your nerd score kind of shows he has the potential to be a running back one in fantasy.
Yeah, getting over a 72, like you are definitely fantasy relevant. But there's a cap ceiling at the moment, and we'll see if he can break through that or not.
This show, I'm just like, this show's littered. This is a really good show. Running back.
Dude, all of the shows are so good.
Let's move on